You're listening to the VegasTourist.com podcast. My name is Mark Anthony.
And I'm the one that radiates awesomeness.
Yes, she does. This is podcast number 213, Escaping Las Vegas.
Oh, boy. And did we?
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
She who radiates awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
So says my stepmother,
Yes.
Miss Vicky.
Thanks, Mom.
This is TheVegasTourist.com. I am Mark Anthony. You can reach me at mark@TheVegasTourist.com. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, all of that good stuff. Yeah. Where did we go, sweetheart?
We went to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon for the weekend.
For the weekend. It was her birthday.
Yes, I'm 49 again.
Yes. I've been up there several times. I've talked about it. You have always wanted to go. The North Rim is about 2,000 feet higher than the South Rim. It gets a lot of snow. It's only open from May through October, so you need to book really early, which is not a habit of ours.
No, we don't do much. We don't plan that far ahead.
So it was really difficult for me to go, okay, it's February. I got to think July. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you really need to plan this out because we got one of the last cabins available. So
wow.
So if this podcast and YouTube video, which will feature your wonderful photos,
yes,
and some of my video clips, if this turns you on so much you want to go, you got to plan way in advance. But before we talk about that, let's talk about some Vegas updates. On the website, TheVegasTourist.com, I've got a cute little video up there, my 5 reasons why the National Hockey League is going to work in Las Vegas. Of course, I also got 5 reasons that won't, but I haven't posted that one yet.
He can't make up his mind.
I'm positive, baby. I'm positive. Okay? This is going to work.
So why are the reasons it's not going to work?
Because they're going to try to micromanage it. They are going to think this is Chicago. The way the NHL has handled this entire process, they think that they're giving us a life-changing experience, and we're telling them go screw themselves. You're just another attraction. Give us the frickin' franchise and let us do it.
We've done this before.
Yeah. Okay. This is not this is not middle of Iowa. Okay. This is
Las Vegas. Yeah. We know what we're doing.
I mean, it's the same thing when Celine Dion first came here. She thought she was going to be the attraction. Mm-hmm. And everyone went, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to go to her after we go to dinner, and then after her, we're going to go.
Can we fit her in?
Yes.
Can we fit her in?
Yeah, exactly.
Do we fit her? We got to figure out how, if we really want to see her, where do we fit her into our
And it
visit?
Hurt her feelings.
Yes.
Speaking of Caesar's Palace, this was not a planned segue. I was there yesterday doing some exploratory work because they're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and they got this really cool map that you can walk around and take selfies of specific spots along the way. Well, I happened to be up on the top floor of the convention area, the conference area, and for those of you that are curious, if you come up to the top floor of the convention center at Caesar's Palace, there's a set of windows there. If you look out the windows, they look right down. You got to have some really good eyes. The topless pool is right there.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
My camera's got a decent lens on it, but okay.
We need my camera.
Yes, definitely. The Venus pool. So I walked down there. You can actually walk out to all of the pools except for the Venus pool, of course, which is cool. But for the next couple of weeks, Monday and Tuesday, the Venus pool is free to adults because it's Monday and Tuesday, and there's really not much business there. All right. Another post that I put up on the website, the Badwater Run. God, this is like the 10th year of it, I think. People, athletes, starts out at Badwater in Death Valley, the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere,
Hot.
in July.
Hot.
And they run for 135 miles
Crazy.
continuously.
Hot and crazy.
And those who completed in under 48 hours get a T-shirt, a goodie bag, and a certificate. I think it's the top 10 get a belt buckle.
Whoa, really? Does it have like a shot of 5-hour energy in it or something?
I'm like, wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
Just for the bling. But it's funny because
They just do it for doing it. They're not doing it for the...
when I read the media page for those that are going to do media for it, which we're not, you know,
Death Valley in July?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, babe.
every other line is like, drink water. Stand here, shoot, drink water.
Water.
Go here, do this, drink water. Go over here, pee, drink water.
Drink water while peeing.
Yeah. I mean, it was like every other line was like, drink water.
Oh, yeah.
Sunscreen, shade. Okay. All right.
Drink water.
Also up there, I got a video on Vegas Vicky going dark. That was the three properties down on Fremont Street that were bought by Derek Stevens and his brother. They closed them down. Somebody told me that I had my dates wrong, and I asked them to please send, because they said that they've got firsthand experience that my dates were wrong. So I said, please correct me. Oh yeah, I will. Still waiting. Again, no word on where Vegas Vicky is going. I hope they keep her there. All right.
It will be sad to see her come down. So
Yes, it will. Vegas Vic will be very lonely on the other side.
nothing to look at, even though he really doesn't look at her.
Yeah, and his hand always went up and down, so maybe it'll go back to going up and down. Now that Vegas Vicky is gone.
I'm going to have to start doing it with myself again. Yep. Hand's going to have to start moving.
The other big news, of course, is the domed stadium that they want to build, the 60,000-seat arena, which I have now flagged as being a complete fraud and is not going to happen.
Oh, yeah?
God, I was so hoping for it to happen. I was so hoping because we need it.
Right.
But now they're jerking us around.
Dangling the carrot.
Yes, and the moment I saw that Majestic Realty was going to be involved, I knew right then this was a doomed project. Okay, Majestic Realty is one of the oldest privately held commercial real estate developers in the nation. They also own the Silverton here. Okay.
Okay.
On their website, it says before we go into any project, we do deep research, even if it takes years before we make a move. And then when we make a move, we control everything. So why are you dicking around going, well, how about if we build it here, maybe over here, maybe over here?
That's all part of the research.
And what if we don't own it? We'll have the taxpayer pay for it, and then we'll run it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're also dealing with Sheldon Adelson, who again is a multi-billionaire real estate developer, and normally these people do not do this. Normally, when Sheldon Adelson came into Vegas, he bought the Sands, blew it up, and built the Venetian.
But it was decisive. He just came in, I want to do this, I'm going to do this. Oh, it's done.
He came in, he bought the cranes to build the Venetian and the Palazzo. He didn't do what most other people do and rent them. He bought them. He didn't come in and go, I think I'm going to build it here. Oh, no, maybe I'll build it over here. No, maybe I'll build it over here.
So he came in with a plan.
Right.
He knew what he was going to do
Right.
when he came in.
Right, okay. The newest idea is to put it where Wild Wild West is. which would then they'd have to buy that out from the Fertitta brothers, who just sold the UFC for $4 billion.
Yeah, they made a little bit of pocket
Holy
change.
cow. Buy it for $2 million, sit on it for 15 years, and then sell it for... Didn't even sell the whole thing. They sold like 60% of it for $4 billion.
With a B. A big B.
Yeah, okay. Now, so then you got...
And they're still on the board of directors or something, and they're still partially managing things.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And I mean, that was just so funny, because when that first broke, Dana White's like, no. Okay, when he says no, we know it's happening. Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, it's just, but I would really love to see the stadium happen, but it's got to involve the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and building it anywhere other than next to the campus is doomed. I'm sorry, it's just doomed. Okay, it's just, and to keep going. Well, we might build it here. We might. No, tell us where you're going to build it. Tell us who's paying you the millions of dollars to name it. Then you build it, and you get to keep all of the profits, and you get to keep all the risks.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and go, okay, we want the naming rights. We want this. We want that. Okay.
But we're going to pay for it.
Yeah. But you guys are going to pay for it. One of the tour companies that I work for, Detours of Nevada, has started their gold mine tour, their El Dorado gold mine tour. Got to do that a couple times.
Yes, I love that.
You love that, didn't you?
I did. I really enjoyed going
You just
out there.
You just love the general store, the first store.
The store was cool. But going down in the mine and going up in through there, especially when it's so hot out and you go inside the mine and the temperature drops by 20 degrees.
And you realize just how nice you have it. You have light bulbs, you have air conditioning.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to work in candlelight with a mule.
Yes. And taking photos in that tunnel was not easy.
And of course, when you book the El Dorado Gold Mine Tour, you get 10% off by mentioning code word TVT.
Yes.
Yay. Yeah. I got to say this on there because it's just a fun story. Was out at the West Rim today, and it's 100 and God knows 30 frickin'
anything over 110 is just plain hot.
Part of my group, I had a family from Australia, and they were fun. So we're in the shade, and we're waiting for some other people from my tour, and there's a group about 10 feet away from us. I don't know, 10 or 15 people there. And these two hotties, these 20 or 21, 22-year-old hotties that thought they were like at the Wynn pool or at the Bellagio pool came strutting across, man.
We're hot. We know it. God. We're here to show it.
Okay. Was that your high school cheer?
Yeah.
All right. But it was so funny because, I mean, they were coming over past us. They were heading to the shuttle, and one of the guys in this group next to us, you could literally hear the bones in his neck crack as he wrenched his neck around to look at these two hotties walking by. And we're 10 or 15 feet away. And you can hear
giving himself whiplash.
Yeah. Well, then when he brought his head back around, his wife cold cocked him the other direction. And again, you could hear the...
Yeah, he's going to need a chiropractor at the end of this trip.
We broke out laughing. And it was so funny because his eyes were like still doing that, what the hell happened? And everyone else in his party was like, do.
Yeah, we didn't see the domestic violence right there.
Didn't see the hotties either. Should let my wife didn't catch me looking like that. But I mean, I've seen the look, I've seen the gestures, I've seen the wives grab the chin, I've seen them put the mouth out. I have seen them cold cock them, but I've never seen the neck go one direction and then come back and get cold cock into the other direction. It was so funny. And I I mean, we didn't feel sorry for him.
Can you imagine that ride home, though?
Oh,
I
my
bet that was an
God.
ice cold ride home.
Oh, didn't even have the AC on in the car.
Nope.
Didn't need
The
it.
temperature outside dropped 40
Oh.
degrees.
They probably scraped ice off the inside of that car. It was, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. We could not help laughing. And, and I know he heard us laughing because
Right.
it was just, you couldn't help but laugh at the poor guy.
Yeah. Oh, you got to feel sorry for him.
All right.
You're supposed to be a little slyer about that. You're not supposed to get caught.
It's Vegas. You're supposed to look. That's what you do it. I do it.
Yes, I do. Actually, we help each other look.
Yes, we do. Especially at rodeo time.
Oh, rodeo time.
Sweetheart.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Buckle bunny to the left, cowboy to the right. Ooh.
You look that way, I look
Yeah.
this way.
Just hope we don't walk into a pole.
It wouldn't be the first time.
No.
Not for me.
Oh, all right. We went to Grand Canyon National Park North Rim. This is gorgeous. Absolutely. Look at the photos on the website. Look at the photos on the video. Now, one of the things that's happening in Vegas, and finally, it's starting to show up in surveys, and the yahoos in the ivory tower are finally catching a clue. People are gambling less and doing other things. They're using Vegas as a hub to do other things other than put their money on a table and watch some dealer, some schmuck with a GED take it from them. Okay, now they're seeing schmucks with GEDs taking it in different ways, like at McDonald's. But anyway,
Jacob's Lake.
that's not a schmuck. Thomas was a cool kid.
He
I
was
loved him.
He was a good boy. I liked Thomas.
We wanted to take Thomas home. He was so sweet.
Thomas was so. I can't believe he's a twin. That there could possibly
Oh
be
my
two
God.
of those sweet boys in the same family.
The mother is diabetic.
She has to be. And they had another brother. It's like, how could you put out such adorableness?
People are coming to Vegas to go elsewhere, and not too many people, thankfully, go to the North Rim. To go to the North Rim, if you drive straight through, it's a 4.5 hour drive, one direction. Okay, South Rim is about 4 hours.
Yeah, so the drive wasn't much different.
No, but it's just that you don't have the accommodations there, you don't have the development there, you don't have that stuff. You have.
And you really have to drive. You have to plan ahead,
Yes.
or you have no accommodations.
Yeah, really. The first night we spent in Canal, which isn't bad. It was a nice hotel, but it wasn't.
It wasn't the North
Right.
Rim.
All right.
It wasn't our cute little cabin.
Yes. Which is, which had me kind of paranoid, but we'll get to that. Okay. We left Vegas in the morning with the goal of having breakfast where?
Oh, Cracker Barrel, of course.
In St. George.
In St. George. Have to.
It just must have been our weekend because we had the cutest little waitress.
Yes.
She was just, I forgot her
we
name.
should hook her up with Thomas.
There we go.
They'd have made a cute
They
couple.
would have. She was just so adorable, so nice. She waited for you to not have a mouthful of food before she would
I love
ask
that.
you.
Just anybody out there, whoever waits on me, this is a pet peeve of mine. Don't ask me how my food is when my mouth is full.
It is so funny because they always
They
do it to you.
catch me every time.
She'll-
Right after you take that first bite or the second bite, they
Yeah.
come by to ask you. It's like
I swear they sit back in the kitchen going, okay,
they watch for me to do
okay,
that.
that's the first bite. Okay, now go.
Go. Yeah, before she swallows.
This young lady came up and she waited and then she said, how's your meal? Okay. By the way, the hash brown. The hash brown casserole. Whew.
Yes, she did. He did not know if he wanted to order the hash browns or the hash brown casserole. He says, "What's the difference?" She mentioned cheese.
Bingo.
So Mark says, "Sign me up."
That's right. So then, I always loved doing this. I looked at her and said, I need to speak to your manager.
And her eyes got
Oh
so
my
big.
gosh. Gosh, she just, I'm like, no, it's not you. I just need to speak to your manager. Okay. She just kind of like walked away like, God, I just took their order. That's all I did.
And they seem so nice.
Yes. So the manager came out on July 25th. Las Vegas gets 2 Cracker Barrels. I didn't know they were opening both of them on the same day.
I wasn't aware we were getting 2. I just knew about the one.
The one by Silverton.
Yeah, that's the one I was
Which
aware
is at the south end, and then they're opening one at the north end.
Yeah, but I didn't know that until the manager up at the Utah mentioned it to us.
She was actually excited.
Yeah.
She's like, finally, you guys are getting one.
Right. We thought she'd consider it competition. She's like, oh, heck no.
No, God, no. About time you guys get, and 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were like, 2? What do you mean 2?
Huh?
Yeah.
So if you do go to the Cracker Barrel in Las Vegas for the first couple of days, expect a long wait.
Yeah, she even mentioned it to expect
2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So go in, put your name on the list.
Go to the Silverton.
Yeah.
Hang out.
The Cracker Barrel. Love you guys. This is not a paid endorsement. We just love Cracker Barrel.
Actually, Bass Pro Shops is right there. You could actually go over there, put your name in, go over to Bass Pro Shops, do some shopping.
That's right. That's where we bought our Merles.
Yes, we had to get new hiking boots that wouldn't make me fall down and break myself.
Well, it won't prevent you from doing it, but it's
supposed to help.
Help, correct. We drove through Zion. Got to go through Zion. Yeah. Love Zion.
Didn't see any wildlife this time, though.
No.
I was bummed.
And we checked into our hotel at Kanab, and then from Kanab to the North Rim, it's 90 minutes.
But breakfast in Kanab, we met the little waitress who was cleaning the tables, who told us...
Let's just wait for... That's tomorrow, okay? We're just on the first day right now.
Oh.
Okay? Took you up. We drove the 90 minutes. You thought you were back in North Carolina with windy roads.
I did. Very windy.
Got up there.
It was North Carolina without the humidity.
I loved what you said when you pulled in and you're just like, oh, wow. The North Rim was built first in the early 1900s. It burned down in 1921. They rebuilt it in 1928. The cabins were built in 1931. And so we went and we checked in.
Yes.
And
not the first day.
No, you're right. Thank you. Sorry. All right. Okay. Took you out through the lodge.
Yes, we checked out the lodge, and then I decided I wanted to go exploring.
Out to the point.
To whatever points we could run into.
That was a Bright Angel Point on the North Rim.
So we took a left first and went out to those points, and then we took a right and went out to that point.
And here's what I asked you. Did I oversell it?
No, not at all. South Rim is beautiful, and I love the South Rim. And it has one thing going for it that the North Rim does not. I've seen a lot more wildlife.
Yes.
But the North Rim it has something different. It has a smell.
Yes.
It smells fresh, and you can smell the trees, and it's quieter.
Yes, because it doesn't have the crowds and it doesn't have the development.
There's no crowds, no development. There was hardly any people there. A few, and those annoyed me. I just didn't want anybody around. It was my birthday. I wanted it to myself.
But you essentially are looking down at the South Rim from the North Rim. Right,
but it's a completely different view.
Yes,
I noticed it was a lot greener. Even looking into the canyon, everything looked greener. It didn't look like looking from the South Rim. You have like a desert landscape with the orange colors and the tan colors, and looking from the North Rim, you see a lot more greens. So it's a completely different atmosphere.
But it was so nice because the high was 74? It
was 77 the first day, and it only got up to, I think, 75 the second day.
That was so cool. Here it's like, I am when I got a signal, I would look and go, oh, it's 110 in Henderson. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
It's 77 here.
Yeah, it hit 110 today here.
You know, here we are out on the patio at the lodge, got our feet up.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about, well, maybe I should change my shirt because I have a tank top on and it might get a little too chilly tonight. And that night I actually got chilly out there. I should have put pants on.
Yes. So then from there, we took a drive, went out to Cape Royal, that really long, windy, narrow drive.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
I thought that was the Vermilion Cliffs.
No. Cape Royal is where we shot Sunset.
Oh yeah. We watched the sunset the first night.
That was so cool.
Yes, that was beautiful.
And again, it didn't have the crowds.
No. In fact, there was very few people out there. I'd guess maybe 10, 20 people at most when the sun actually was going down.
And it was beautiful. That was just so cool to watch that happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it came down. It was just different.
We also stopped at what the heck was that? Angel's Landing with the hole in the rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty.
where we had to watch for.
We had to watch for a rattlesnake because
Yeah.
the group ahead of us said they'd had a small one rattle at them.
Yeah.
But so Mark picked up his sticks and he went around hollering and snapping sticks to make sure that the snakes all knew we were coming.
That's right.
But we never ran into anything.
Nope.
I got a picture of a lizard, and that was the most wildlife I
Hey,
seen.
he posed for you.
He did. That's the
uh,
only real wildlife I got until the day we were going home, which
Right.
we'll go over in a little
Right.
while.
Okay. But watching sunset there, I think, was more beautiful than watching sunset at the South Rim
Yes.
without the elk.
See, that's the problem.
But yeah, we're all sitting out there, out on this ledge, just watching the sunset, and it was just everyone was just like,
Yeah, you could have heard a pin drop because everybody was just so quiet. It's like you're afraid to say anything because you're afraid it'll stop if you talk.
yeah.
So everybody's very quiet, and you just all kind of enjoy it together. So it's
And then after that, we drove that long, windy road behind a Honda and a Mustang who had no clue how to drive a freaking Mustang.
oh no, that driver needs
If you're
to be
going to
slapped.
rent a Mustang convertible, please drive it like a Mustang, not a Yugo.
Yes.
We did see wildlife. We saw a lot of deer at night.
At night, yes, at night I bet we seen 30 different deer going home that night,
And then
going
we-
back to the
and-
room.
And then we got into our hotel and just collapsed.
Yeah, I don't remember that night.
Yeah.
We did a lot of hiking that day.
Holiday Inn Express, Kanab, good group, nice people. Love that shower head. Oh my God, that shower head.
We have not ever stayed in a Holiday Inn Express that we haven't walked away with something memorable.
Yes.
At least we haven't bought the shower head yet.
No, we bought the bed.
We bought the bed.
We just haven't bought the shower head yet.
Not yet. But I'm sure if you find it, we'll have it.
And then the following morning, they give you a free breakfast. We're down and we're about to leave. And again, this sweet young little girl,
Yeah.
you got to stop at Jacob Lake.
You just got to. And we had stopped in there the day before just to check out the
Right.
curios and the visitor center. We didn't know anything about what we were doing. And she says they have world famous cookies.
Yes.
You have to try their cookies.
I've stopped there for lunch with a tour group, but as a tour guide, it's like, I have to march them in, sit down, eat, and march out. So I've never got to enjoy it.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, it was so funny. She's like, you gotta try Jacob's Lake. You gotta have the cookies.
Yeah, we're like, what? Really? What for? Oh, they're world famous.
They're world famous. I'm like, we're from Vegas. Everything here is world famous. Okay, come on.
But you don't understand. They're world famous.
So
we did.
So yeah. So off we go. Now we were really close to the Vermilion Cliffs and the cliff dwellers. And so it's like, okay, since we're this close to it, let's go and see.
Yeah, let's just go see. It's just a short little drive.
Let's go on an adventure, baby.
Yes, let's go do an adventure.
and end up in Alamo.
It's Mark's favorite words is let's go on an adventure. And I'm holding my breath. We don't get lost again.
Yes. The Cliff Dwellers is a 1920 outpost near Marble Canyon. And what is it famous for, sweetheart?
Giant boulders balanced on nothing.
Bounced on old houses that used to
Some
be there.
old stone homes, yeah, but some of them are just bounced on nothing.
These rock formations look like they're about to come alive.
They really do, and some of them are the size of a house, and they're
Yes.
balanced on nothing. They look like they're almost floating in the air. And they're just gone.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I mean, you're out in this flat area, and you've got these rock formations that are just, you know.
And these dwellings that were built out of stone and rock from the Native Americans, I'm assuming. And
If you ever saw the movie, what's the one? Never Ending Story.
oh yeah, the rock people, the
Yes.
rock eaters.
Yes. The farther we drove along, that's all I could think of is
Really?
the rock eaters coming out, because these rock formations look like something that's about to come alive.
Yeah, that they were bent over and they could
Yeah.
stand up and start walking to you.
You know, it's like, okay, the sun's setting. Okay, let's get up. Let's move.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Let's drop
we're-
onto another house.
Yeah, we're resting right now because
Yeah.
it's hot.
And then from there, we went down to Lee's Ferry, which is where the Colorado River basically enters the Grand Canyon.
Before we went to the ferry, we went down to the lake or the river itself.
Well,
And we walked in the river.
Yes, that's Lee's Ferry right there.
Oh, okay.
That frickin' water is cold.
Oh, but it felt so good because it was getting kind of warm.
Yes, it was.
But we didn't get all the way in it. We just got our feet wet.
No, I can see how folks die of hyperthermia in that water. We saw
Do
a
they
couple.
really?
Oh my God. Lee's Ferry was where John Lee, one of the sons to the second prophet of the Mormon Church, Brigham Young, had a ferry crossing. There was the first ferry the first place you could cross the Colorado River, and it was also where he hid out while they were trying to get him for murder during the Mountain Meadows massacre deal. But anyway, all
You
right.
should have told me all this.
Then from there we went to the Navajo bridges, the twin bridges, which you did not take a picture of.
I didn't realize I was supposed to take a picture of both bridges. They looked the same.
They're bridges.
They are bridges. I took a picture of one of them.
Then from there we went back.
We went back where it was cool because
Yes.
it was getting
Oh, my
hot there.
God.
It was
That's
back
like-
up in the hundreds, and I'm like, we came out here to be cool. I want the 70s again.
And we stopped at Jacob Lake.
No,
No?
that was Sunday.
It was Sunday? Okay, I'm sorry. God, I'm getting my...
No, you decided you wanted Subway, and you had stopped
Oh,
and
that's
bought
right.
Subway.
That's
on,
right.
On that was the day of my birthday,
Yes. That's,
and Subway didn't go well.
No. But I gave you a really cool birthday card.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah, thank you. At least I'll get some credit for that.
Well, that was very cute because I got up when we woke up at the Holiday Inn. It was just sitting there when we were packed up to leave.
Yes.
And it was just sitting
It just
there. and
appeared there.
It just appeared out of nowhere. And it had my name on it. And I'm like, is this for me?
No, sweetheart. I've got another girlfriend named Debbie. We're in Utah. I can have multiple Debbies.
Well, at least that keeps you from calling out the wrong name.
That's right. Hey, you just doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't.
All right. So now we're heading in
Back up into the...
back into the North Rim,
Yes.
and we
A buffalo.
saw buffalo, wild buffalo.
No.
Yeah, we did. Yes,
Oh,
we
those
did.
are the ones with the fence.
No, we saw buffalo going in,
Did we?
but they were farther away.
Oh, that's right. Right when we entered into the park, into the national
Right.
park.
Yeah, there's
They-
a meadow there.
Yeah, and they were too far away.
Right. Okay. All
And you
right.
wouldn't let me go chase them.
No, I did not. Checked into the lodge and then got.
Oh, and I fell in love.
Yes.
I fell in love.
This is so cool. I mean, this puts you in the 1930s.
It had no air conditioning and no TV.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I was going to survive. No internet, no cell phone service, no TV.
Wait till you see the photos because you are just so cute. Look at this. Look at this cabin. Look.
I have all kinds of photos. In fact, I told people at work about the photos, and I've got people at work now want to know how much it costs because they want to go do it.
You got to go do it. It's just, it's just beautiful there.
It was. And in fact, when we left, I didn't want to leave. I just wanted to stay.
No. Once you laid in the bed and that cool breeze came across.
Yeah, because the cabin has windows on both sides of the bed. The bed's right by the windows, so I laid
Rustic.
down.
It's rustic.
I laid down for a nap during the day.
Yeah, you went out like a light bulb.
We were going to do star shooting photography at night, so I figured I needed a nap. And boom, out I went.
But before we went there, we went to dinner.
Yes.
At the lodge.
Yes.
Overlooking the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
Yes, and it was beautiful.
However, you don't like duck.
I don't like duck. They recommended duck, and I
recommended
wanted
duck.
prime rib, and she recommended duck.
So you went with prime rib.
I went with duck, and
duck.
It came, and it's not good, and I don't like it at all. It was like oily ham with sweet.
So she took that away and brought back
The most amazing prime rib I've ever
That was
eaten in
freaking
my
delicious.
life.
That thing was the petite size, but man, that
Yeah.
thing took up the plate.
Yes, the 10
That was
ounce 10 ounce prime rib at the lodge at the North Rim. If you ever go to eat, I recommend it highly. Was
Yes.
the best thing I.
That's another thing. You got to book that early too. I actually booked it in that morning, so
I wasn't sure if the food tasted so good because the duck had tasted so bad. If
No.
it was the fresh air, if it was the not eating most of the day, if it was all the hiking and walking, but that was the best meal I had ever eaten. I was going to sit there if it took 3 hours and I was going to eat that whole thing.
lap band or not, that damn thing is going down.
Well, you helped, but I got
Yes, I
it.
did.
I got the meat down. I didn't get to eat the rest, but that meat was going down.
Oh.
And that last bite tasted just as good
It
as
was
the
first
first
one.
one.
Damn right it did. Oh God, that was a great one. I forgot what I had because that prime rib just was freaking.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
It was, it was so good. It was best birthday meal ever, baby. You did a good job.
Did I do a good birthday this year?
You did a great
All
birthday
right,
this year.
So then we went back to our beautiful cabin
Yes,
and passed out.
and passed out.
And
Telling
then-
ourselves we're going to get up because I have this great app that tells me exactly when the Milky Way is going to be in the perfect position for us to shoot it.
And so we went out to shoot the stars over the canyon
Yes.
and got chewed out by other star
And we had
shooters.
other photographers chew our butts for having headlights on our heads.
F you.
Well, here's the deal. As a photographer, okay, we all know what we're going out there to shoot. We're going to be there a while. Everybody's waiting for the Milky Way to rise. So they're all sitting there. They're all BSing.
Okay.
So they see the light coming. All they have to do is holler saying, "Photographer's here.
Yeah.
Do something with your light." But it's pitch black out. They know we're trying to walk a very tight trail.
Very narrow.
We have to see where we're going.
Well, plus that first idiot was just absolute rude.
He was just rude. Yeah, you're not the only photographer here, you know.
Well, it's like, dude, you're standing on a rock over our head in pitch blackness, wearing black. We can't see you.
Exactly.
You're not talking. So
How are we supposed to know? And
Right.
and the thing is you have to understand as we're walking in pitch black, we have to see where we're going.
Yes.
Or we're going to walk off the side of a freaking cliff.
Yes.
So
That second group was talking, so we knew we were coming
we
upon
heard them
them.
coming, yeah. So, and now we know with our headlights, they have a red light
Yeah.
to them so we can dim our lights down to help. But you're sitting there and you're shooting a shot and say somebody turns a light on, it's going to ruin your shot.
Right.
That's a photographer's thing. You sit there and you shoot it again. They're shooting stars. The stars aren't going to move. They're
No.
staying there. So somebody ruined your shot. We apologize. We're sorry. You move on and you take another shot. They're going to be there. Oh, when we went out there and we shot for what, an hour and a half or
Yeah.
so, 2 hours. We left. They were still sitting there shooting.
Yeah.
So
And it's really, for those of you that have been around Debbie, she's got this little ooh 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 ooh. And so we're in pitch blackness, and you can kind of see the trees on the rocks, and then some of the stars. And here, ooh. However, when you're out there because you're at 9,000 feet in black,
Pitch black. Pitch black. You cannot see anything.
So you basically point your lens and hit the button, and you
wait for 30 seconds.
and then see what happens. And then you go, whoa!
Oh, yeah. Either that or we go, oops, camera's a little crooked. We got to line it up a little bit better.
However, those were freaking awesome pictures, babe.
I've only posted, I think, 7 of them so far, but some of them turned out absolutely amazing. I'm very, very tickled. This is the best. This was the best session we've had so far at nighttime. Yeah. So
and then
they're getting better.
And then I'm sitting there going, okay, stars, canyon walls. And I just, what the hell? Let's just point the camera down and see what happens. And
the thing is you captured some really beautiful cloud shapes with the stars behind them with the canyon walls. So, which I would have never thought of. So, we had a great time out there. I think I had more fun shooting at night than anything we shot during the daytime.
The only thing was I'm sitting there going, okay, the ranger was talking about cougars last night. I'm like looking, we're out on this very narrow point, and it's like, okay, if that cougar comes up or that mountain lion comes up behind us, we're screwed.
Well, look on the bright side, babe. I'm a bigger meal than you are, so they're going to hit me first.
That's true. It was fun. I mean, just again,
actually, wild animals like that usually they try to attack a meal they think they can get. So
I will remember that when I see that white tiger again.
Oh, yeah. Well, that white tiger wasn't trying to eat me. He was trying to warn me.
Yeah, whatever.
I was too close.
But still, just to be out on the North Rim at night, clean mountain, fresh air,
the smell.
50
the smell
degrees.
Of the trees.
Yes. It's just, and I mean, I was raised in the country, so that's kind of like this, but I mean, I've been out here for 16 years. We live in a town of 2 million people. We see the lights. It's just nice to just get out of town.
Well, you
and
forget,
do that.
because it's been so long. North Carolina was the same way, but as soon as we hit those windy roads going up, it took me back to my childhood, just remembering back to those trees and the woods.
Then like when we were walking around, I now have a water bottle. And they have the refill station, so you get that fresh mountain water, and you're just like, this is heaven on earth, baby. Yes, heaven on earth.
Yep.
And because you don't have the crowds up there, the people that are there are just friendly as all get out.
Yeah, everybody's in a good mood. You don't hear anybody grumping and crying.
Yeah, because we don't have our cell phones. We don't have.
And there's not a lot. There's not a lot of children.
No.
There's not a lot of screaming babies. You don't hear a lot of that. I didn't notice it. I noticed one cabin had a stroller outside of it, but I don't think I ever heard the kids.
No. There is one cabin up there that had the cabin number is 007. I'm like, that's our next one. I want that one next time. Okay. So yeah,
But then Sunday, we woke up to leave, and I was very sad because I didn't want to leave.
Really didn't want to leave.
And the only thing I was bummed about our whole weekend was that I hadn't got to shoot any wildlife because the only thing we'd seen was all the deer at nighttime, so I couldn't shoot them.
The lizard.
I got some pictures of a lizard, and we saw one really fat chipmunk that's been fed well, but no real wildlife. For a photographer, that's kind of my bread and butter. I love the wildlife.
And then on our way out, we stopped at Cape Imperial,
which would have been the sunrise had we woke up for it.
We weren't going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Not when we'd stayed up all night watching stars.
No. I'm sorry, we did star shooting. The sunrise will have to wait till next time.
Yeah.
But that is the highest part of the canyon, and the deepest part of the canyon is at Cape Imperial.
Which would have been gorgeous with the sun coming up.
Yes,
watching the sun rays going down into the canyon, that would have been gorgeous. So we'll have to go back and do that.
Oh, God. Do we have to go back, really?
Yeah, we're going to have to go back.
And then going out.
10 minutes before this happened, I had just commented, the only bad thing about the trip was that we hadn't run into wildlife, and I no sooner...
And then I made the offhand remark, sorry, but but it's Sunday, and the union probably didn't have them out there.
Yeah, you did. And we were both chuckling, and we turned around and looked to the left, and there was a huge herd of buffalo right on the side of the road.
Right there.
Right there. In fact, there was a ranger right there, and we were afraid he'd run us off. So we pulled up, and then he got some kind of emergency call and just ran off. So I guess it was okay for us to be there because he didn't run us off. So.
And it was really neat because, when we come through Zion, there's a Zion Mountain Ranch, and they raise buffalo there, and so once in a while you see them. But these at the North Rim were like the ones you would see in South Dakota on the range.
I had one staring me down. I got some gorgeous pictures of him.
You have a couple mean ones.
Yeah, they're looking at me like, if you get any closer to me, you and we might have a problem.
What's the Robert De Niro? You looking at me, kid? You looking at me? You looking at me?
Well, that's when I was standing up and shooting, and you know how I get a little crazy, so I just decided, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to show them that I'm not anything to them, and then they just started walking right by me, just all of them as a group.
What, there was like 10 or 12 babies? There was
probably a dozen babies in the herd.
And I mean, you are literally 20 feet away.
Yeah, it didn't seem like I was far at all.
Huge herd.
And I'd have gotten closer, but I knew you'd have hollered at me. So
Yes.
that's why I sat down. So put your mind at ease that I wasn't going to go in there and try to get in the middle of them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But I'd still be sitting there.
Yes, you would be.
If you hadn't made me leave.
However, on our way home, on our way out, we stopped at Jacob Lake.
Yes, we had to stop there.
Yes.
Yes. We were starving to death.
Yes,
so
we were.
We figured we needed to stop and eat.
Place was built, what did they say, back in the 30s?
Something like that. It's family owned by Little Thomas's family.
Little Thomas's family. We sat at this counter that just was a throwback from the 1950s. I mean, it was just...
or earlier. I just screamed old.
And our server, Thomas, was, 21, 22 years old, I think?
Young and gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just young and gorgeous.
And sweet, nice.
And sweet and adorable. And then there was the girl behind the other counter that had serious OCD.
Oh, God, she was hilarious.
She was straightening counters and straightening cups, and if she saw anything out of place, she was straightening it.
They have this cabinet, this glass cabinet for the pies, and it's like 3 feet wide, 2 feet wide, or 3 feet long, 2 feet wide, and about 3 feet high. And it was like 2 inches off on one side, and she just worked this cabinet until it was like...
She had it as perfect as she could get it. And then she stood back and she stared at it and moved it again for a smidge. And then, okay, I think I'm good.
And then she came over to our side, and they had this steamer with all the little cups in it.
Yep. And she's straightening the cups. All the cup handles had to point in the same direction. And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, you got it bad. And she goes, oh, you have no idea.
Yeah. She kind of looked and went, I got caught. She went to the wall behind her, everything, and and that wall was all cups and saucers, and I'm like, holy shit!
They don't pay her enough. I don't care what they pay her; they don't pay her enough. But she's probably a very good employee.
Here's the cool thing about that. Other than that, it's a really cool stop. It's a very historic stop because Jacob Lake used to have a lake until.
The owner got greedy, and he decided he wanted to make the lake bigger, so he got a backhoe and tried to open it up to make it bigger, but he dug in and hit the aquifer that drained the lake, so now there's no lake there.
But
so that's what you get for being greedy.
Yes.
You should never be greedy.
And one of my things, and this is one of the reasons I love Cracker Barrel, is when they bring you your glass of drinks, it's an actual glass.
Yes.
It's not plastic. Same with up here. glass. It was real glass.
Yes, and I ordered a root beer float because I was hot and I was thirsty, and it just sounded good. So they brought you. They not only brought you a root beer float, they brought you an extra little glass
That's
of root
right,
beer.
because they knew the foam.
Yes, I thought that was just sweet. You don't see that too often.
And then Thomas said, "Hey, you got to try the bull burger." And I forgot what was in the bull burger, but it was delicious. First of all,
It had like peppers and grilled onions and stuff in the meat.
Yeah.
Inside the meat.
and the neatest thing was you could look from where we were sitting back through the little window where they put the order in, and you could see the girl in back actually make the hamburger. It wasn't
Smashing the patty.
Yes, it wasn't one of those where they open up the freezer, grab the patty, throw it on the grill, and hope it defrosts. This was an act. She took a handful of meat,
Mashed all the stuff into it.
put it on the grill, flipped it.
Yep.
I mean, you can just,
And that was the best burger.
I'm sorry. It's just those little things you don't get anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. And then you bought me a pair of wooden carved earrings from the Navajo Indians, and then we
Right.
went and bought cookies.
Yes. We asked Thomas about the cookies, and he's like, yes, they are world famous, and yes, they are absolutely freaking delicious.
And he recommended a few, and we bought one of each of the ones he recommended.
And they were. Oh, my God.
You still have one downstairs you
I
haven't
know.
tried, which is the best of the three.
Well, I'm hoping we have enough milk, because it's just...
I'm hoping you hurry and eat it, because if you don't,
Yeah.
you might be in trouble. You'll have to go back and buy you another one.
They are world famous cookies, and they are absolutely frickin' delicious, okay? So then from there, we basically drove home back through Zion.
And stopped at Cracker Barrel again for dinner so I could pick up my junk that I like to bring home.
Our grandson...
Yes.
God, that sounds so weird.
Who today is his 12th birthday. Happy birthday, Chase.
You, for as long as I've known you, you have told him you were going to buy him a box of rocks for his birthday.
Yes, because every year he asks for, I don't know, $100 worth of stuff, and I always buy him exactly what he wants.
But you threatened to get him a box of rocks, and this year you got him a box of rocks.
This year, Cracker Barrel has chocolate rocks, and they look just like the rocks you'd find the pebbles in a river. So I bought enough packages of these to fill a fancy box, and he's going to get a box of rocks for his birthday. And once I get that expression and I get the photos, then I'll pull out the real gift.
There it is.
But I am dying to see him get a box of rocks for his birthday this year. So Saturday, hurry up and get here.
It was really funny because that ride home, first of all, I just couldn't. It was one of those things we didn't want to leave, but yet we couldn't wait to get home.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Because you miss your own bed.
Yeah. But man, once we hit Mesquite and we started to feel that heat, we're just like, really?
Yeah. Then it was like, oh, man.
We left 75 degrees, beautiful sunshine.
And I drove that last leg home from Utah, from St. George home, and I just watched the temperature in the car going creep up. And when we hit Vegas, it was at 99 degrees, and I just watched it when I went, and it was late. It was like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the evening, and it was 99, and then it went 100, 101. I'm like, yep, we're home.
We're home. So look at the website. Hit the link to YouTube. This podcast will have a video on it, and it will be all of her photos, some of my video clips, maybe a couple of my photos. You will see why we are just raving about the North Rim. If you ever get an opportunity,
Definitely add this to your bucket list.
Definitely. Okay. There are a couple of tour operators. A friend of mine, Ann over at Tours of Distinction, is having her North Rim tour. I think it's in August. Check that out. I will have the links of that in the show notes. Of course, links of all the places that we were at and the things that we recommend will be in the show notes. But definitely, thank you for telling me that I did not oversell it.
No, you definitely did not. I was very, 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 very impressed. I very much, and I love the South Rim. I love it. It's not like the West Rim. The West Rim you can go and see once. You should do it once.
Yeah.
If you've never done the Grand Canyon, I would recommend doing the South Rim or doing the West Rim first.
Yeah.
Get it out of your system. But once you've done it once, you don't want to go do it again.
Right.
The South Rim, I would go and see multiple times.
And we have.
The North Rim, I would go see once a year, every year, because it's different and it's just a way to get away, unplug.
Yeah, exactly.
You just unplug. You're away from everything. My job couldn't get a hold of me. My kids couldn't get a hold of me. We got to unplug, and it was just nature, and it was just beauty, and it just reminds you of how insignificant you are and how beautiful the world is.
And it is really nice to just relax.
Yes.
And we literally kicked our feet up.
Yes, we got a great shot.
Yep. And so definitely check out the North Rim. Like I said, it's only, I mean, if you really just want to do it, it's a 4.5 hour drive straight through. But I would recommend doing what we did, kind of break it up. I would definitely just, if I could plan it again, I would plan it more in advance so I can book both nights up there.
Yes, I would do that too, and I would have myself more prepared for the hiking. I wasn't prepared for the altitude. So my asthma, having asthma and not being an everyday hiker.
But it didn't knock you out.
It didn't knock me out, but I was prepared this time. Right. I knew because of Bryce Canyon and our hiking that we've done there what to expect, and I kind of baby myself in the daytime. But it's the lack of the heat.
Yeah.
The cooler temperatures makes hiking easier. Trying to go hike the South Rim or Zion, it's hot, so it's harder for somebody with asthma. But anyway, I'd do it again. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
And also definitely check out Jacob Lake. They've got cabins and hotels there as well. They're only 45 minutes away from the North Rim. They're basically at the entrance to the North Rim.
And tell Thomas that the Vegas Tours sent you.
That's right. Mark and Debbie at the Vegas Tours said hello. Not that that's going to get you anything, but like us on YouTube, subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us your comments, your thoughts, your questions. We will always respond to them. Always welcome your questions about Vegas tourism, and things like that. If you have any questions about going to the North Rim, I can do that as well. And of course, all that. Anything else, babe?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm talked out.
If you would like to be a guest on the Vegas Tourist Podcast, there's a link on the website as well. We would like to hear from you as well. All right. This is Mark Anthony. That is Debbie Anthony. See you all. Listen to us next time, folks.
You betcha.
You betcha. Bye.
Bye.
It's getting dark.